This is the Asus EeePC Model 701. Released all the way back in October 2007, it was the first netbook I ever owned. I have a lot of fond memories of using this minuscule laptop and just taking it with me all over the place. So I thought it would be fun to take a look at it again today, see what we can do to speed it up, and see what the experience is like 14 years later. And we're going to do just that right here on Print and Play Retrospective. The EeePC specs are almost as minuscule as its form factor. It sports an Intel Celeron 900MHz processor, but it's underclocked to 630MHz in order to lower power usage and heat generation. It comes equipped with 512 MB of DDR2 RAM and came installed with either Windows XP or a distribution of Linux, depending on which one you purchased. This is the 4G version, which might make you think it has integrated cell servers. But no, the 4G in this case is the 4 gigs of soldered-on storage on the board. For display, the 701 sports a 7-inch screen, featuring a pretty low resolution of 800x480, which doesn't even hit S-Video standards. Located on either side of the screen are two speakers that aren't nearly as big as the black borders around them would make you think. They're pretty tiny and sound pretty tinny, but they do the job. Above the screen is a feature that's pretty standard today, an integrated webcam, which was useful for doing video chats back in the day. The keyboard on the EeePC is not particularly pleasant to type on. It's about 20% smaller than a regular laptop keyboard, and it ends up feeling very crowded and it's easy to mistype on. Below the keyboard is a single-touch touchpad, which is also comically small. It works alright, but you'll find yourself lifting your finger more frequently during use than you probably would expect. Despite its minuscule footprint, the EeePC sports a surprising amount of I/O. On the left side of the machine, it has an Ethernet port, a spot for a phone cord to connect to the optional internal modem. Then we have a single USB 2.0 port, a vent that is connected to the active cooling fan inside the laptop, and separate connectors for both microphone and headphone. On the right side, we have a full-sized SD card slot, 2 additional USB 2.0 ports, and a VGA output which will allow you to connect an external monitor. The rear of the unit is primarily taken up by a 4-cell battery pack that powers the unit when it's not plugged in, but you'll also find the DC-in jack back here as well. Before we start playing with the unit, let's see what we can do to upgrade it. Flipping over the laptop, we have a small square removable panel. And we get to see this unit is actually a little special. Not only does it have a socketed slot for RAM, but it also has a mini PCIe slot, allowing us to expand on the internals. First, I've ordered an adapter that will allow me to connect a mini SATA SSD into the expansion slot. I found this 60GB SSD on Amazon for $25, which should be more than enough storage to accommodate everything this thing can handle. Next, let's replace the memory. The EeePC supports a maximum of 2 gigs of DDR2, so I'm going to go ahead and give it the maximum. I'm also going to take advantage of the SD card slot by installing an 8GB SD card that I've pre-written with the Windows XP installer, as well as drivers and some support software. This will also result in the SD card being required to boot the laptop, but it also means the machine will no longer have any reliance on the internal 4GB of storage, which should help improve its longevity. Now for the moment of truth. And we have life. Popping into the BIOS, we can see that it sees not only the new SSD, but the 8GB SD card as well. One Windows XP install later and everything is looking pretty good. I've gone ahead and set up the theme to Windows Classic so it uses as little resources as possible. I installed a piece of software called eeectl that allows us to manually adjust the fan and the speed of the processor. To give this thing its best chance in gaming, I'll go ahead and set it to run at the full 900 MHz. I've also installed an old version of Daemon Tools. This allows me to emulate an optical drive since the machine clearly doesn't have one of its own. Then I can store disk images of my favorite games on the SD card, and it's fully portable and ready to go. I started off by installing a game I spent a lot of my time playing in the early 2000s, Star Trek Armada. Now, this game is notoriously fussy about what it'll run on, and while it played reasonably well, the audio is definitely off.
Station. Confirm.
It stutters and skips, and while sometimes lowering the acceleration on the sound card will fix it, it didn't work in this case. Star Trek Armada 2 ran better, with sound and video working fine. While I enjoyed both games, I always found that Armada 2 tried to complicate things for no good reason. Still, I'm a sucker for games that reunite the original cast to do the voice acting for them, so this was a hit for me. Motocross Madness runs really well on here with very little stuttering. I don't know if I ever played this game the way it was meant to be. I usually just drop into Stunt Quarry and drive around. And, like everybody else I knew that ever played this game, I spent a bunch of time learning how to get out of bounds, only to be rewarded with this. The original Half-Life capped out at about 71 frames per second, although it didn't stay there the entire time. Traversing the Black Mesa Research Facility would lead to occasional drops below 60 frames per second, and, of course, when everything went sideways during the experiment, the frame rate suffers. Overall, this is a perfectly playable experience though, and I had a lot of fun getting back into it. Unreal Tournament is still one of my favorite arena shooters, and fueled many of the first LAN parties that I ever went to. I spent many late evenings on Facing Worlds or running around on other maps with a shock rifle set to Instagib. It's fast-paced ridiculousness, and it plays very smoothly on the EeePC. Quake 3 Arena saw lots of gameplay during those early LAN parties as well, and the EeePC tackles it like a champ. Of course, these aren't online matches, so the experience might change on a crowded map, but you probably wouldn't want to get too competitive on a 7-inch screen anyways. Speaking of which, if you find this thing too tiny with the integrated screen, then it's an excellent time to bust out your favorite CRT for some big screen action. For even more fun, set it up with dual display and run Winamp on the integrated LCD. But so far, all the games I've tested on this were released around the turn of the century, a good 5 to 7 years before the EeePC was even released. So what if I threw a game that was current at the time of its release at it? Well, to test that, I decided to try and load up BioShock. Only then to remember that BioShock requires an online connection in order to finish installing, and I unfortunately do not have a lot of trust in this copy of Windows XP if I were to bring it online right now, so I scratched that idea. Other games that I tried were Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the original, not the new one that just came out, and unfortunately I couldn't get any of them to start, so it looks like I'm pretty much stuck with older games. Overall, this was a bit of a blast from the past for me. Getting to play some of the old games that I loved playing back in the day on hardware that supports it pretty well was a lot of fun. In fact, it took me quite a while to get this video done because I would often run longer in my gameplay than I really needed for footage. I'm glad I kept this EeePC around, and it still runs great after all these years, and with these new upgrades, hopefully it'll last even longer. And that's it for this one. Thanks for sticking around till the end. If you're new here, subscribe. There's going to be more retro tech coming out real soon. Promise less than 2 years in between videos this time. And leave a comment down below if you had one of these in the past and if you did anything to upgrade it and what you used to use it for. Alright you guys, well I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.